A very good morning to all. Today, we are moving on to our next topic, that is about mammals. So in the last class, we learned about reproduction in animals. And we learned that animals can reproduce in two ways. So which are the two ways? Animals can produce their young ones by laying eggs, and the other one is by giving birth to their young ones. And we learned about egg-laying animals. And today, we are going to learn about animals that give birth to their young ones. So what are they called? Animals that give birth to their young ones are called as mammals. So animals that give birth to their young ones, we call it as mammals. So there are many examples for animals which are mammals, like the elephant, cow, cat, dog, goat. All these are mammals. Even we human beings are mammals. Why? Because we give birth to our young ones. So mammals are animals that give birth to their young ones. So now let's see what are the features of mammals. So first of all, we have discussed they are animals that give birth to their young ones. And the next one is that all these mammals have hair on their body. So this is one of the special feature or characteristic of a mammal. That is, they have hair on their body. And the next thing is that these mammals produce their young ones that develop inside the mother's body. So where do they develop? They develop inside their mother's body. And after, when they are born, these young ones feed on their mother's milk. So the young ones develop inside their mother's body, and after they are born, they feed on their mother's milk. And another feature of these mammals are, so most of the mammals that live on land have 4 legs. So most of the mammals that live on land have 4 legs. And the another thing is, how do they breathe? They breathe through their lungs. So these are some of the features of mammals. And we discussed that most of the mammals live on land. But even there are mammals that live in water. Do you know what do we call them? We call them aquatic mammals. So the mammals that live in water, we call them as aquatic mammals. So there are many examples for aquatic mammals like the dolphin, whale, seal. All these are examples for aquatic mammals. So they give birth to their young ones. Then what about a bat? Is it a mammal or is it an egg-laying animal? A bat is also a mammal. Even though it can fly like a bird, bat is a mammal. It gives birth to its young one. So that is about mammals. So mammals are animals that give birth to their young ones. And these young ones develop inside their mother's body. And they feed on their mother's milk. So that is about mammals. Coming to page number 62, there is a box given. Did you know? It is given a platypus lays eggs. So a platypus is a mammal as well as an egg-laying animal. A pangolin has scales on its body. Even a pangolin is a mammal. Even it has scales on its body like a fish. The young ones of both these mammals feed on their mother's milk. And the young ones of these animals feed on their mother's milk. Coming to the next box, you can see life skills. If you see a bird's nest, so we all know that why do a bird build their nest? They build their nest to lay eggs, at the same time to take care of their young ones. So if you see a bird's nest, do not disturb the nest. Then do not go close to the nest and do not try to feed the chicks. So this is very important and you should always remember this. So now let's move on to our exercise in page number 64. You can take page number 64 and let's start with the first exercise. That is, tick the correct options. So I'm going to read out the questions and you can tick the right answers. The first one, frogs lay eggs. In water, on sand, on leaves, on rocks. The second one, caterpillars develop into adult butterflies, pupae, chicks, tadpoles. The third one, tadpoles breathe through their lungs, skin, tail, gills. And the fourth one, the body of mammals is covered with fat, hair, scales, feathers. And the fifth one, insects give birth to caterpillars, lay eggs, give birth to young ones, do not reproduce. So let's see the answers. So what is the answer for the first one? Frogs lay eggs. So where do they lay eggs? They lay eggs in water. The second one, caterpillars develop into pupae. Third one, tadpoles breathe through their. How do these tadpoles breathe? They breathe through their gills. Fourth one, the body of mammals is covered with. The body of mammals is covered with hair. The answer is hair. And the fifth one, insects. Insects lay eggs. Insects reproduce their young ones by laying eggs. So the answer is lay eggs. Coming to the next one, that is match the following. You have to match with the correct pair. The first one, lions. You have to match it with the correct pair. Second one, butterflies. The third one, frogs. The fourth one, turtles. And the fifth one, sparrows. So let's see the answers. The first one is lions. So you have to match it with which one? Give birth to young ones. So lions are mammals that give birth to young ones. The second one, butterflies. You have to match it with which pair? You can match it with caterpillars. They hatch into caterpillars. The third one, frogs. They hatch into tadpoles. So what is the answer? The answer is tadpoles. The fourth one, turtles. So where turtles, which one you can match it with? You can match it with lay eggs on land. So these turtles lay eggs on land. And the fifth one, sparrows. So you can match it with D, lay eggs in nest. They produce their young ones by laying eggs and they lay eggs in their nest. Now let's move on to the third exercise, that is answer the following questions. So you have 4 questions given here. So let's discuss the questions and answers, and after that you can write it down in your notebook with today's date. So the first one, define reproduction. So what is reproduction? The process by which all living things produce young ones like themselves is called as reproduction. All living things, which includes animals, human beings, etc. All living things produce their young ones like themselves, which we call it as reproduction. Coming to the second question. What hatches from an egg of a butterfly? So what hatches from an egg of a butterfly? An egg of a butterfly hatches into larva known as caterpillar. So the eggs of butterfly hatches into larva, which is known as caterpillar. The third one, name any 3 types of animals that lay eggs. You can write birds, frogs, snakes, all these animals lay eggs to produce their young ones. Coming to the fourth one, why do birds keep their eggs warm? So we know that birds keep their eggs warm so that their young ones grow inside the egg. Their young ones grow inside the egg. So you can write the answer as eggs that are not kept warm do not develop into baby birds. If they do not keep the egg warm, these eggs do not develop into, their young ones do not develop into baby birds. Eggs that are not kept warm do not develop into baby birds. So that is why the birds sit on the eggs and keep them warm. Now let's move on to the fourth exercise, that is answer the following questions in 2 or 3 sentences. So let's start with the first question. Where do sea turtles lay their eggs? How are the eggs hatched? So there are 2 questions. So the first question is, where do these sea turtles lay eggs and how are the eggs hatched? So let's see the answer. Sea turtles lay their eggs in soil. So where do they lay their eggs? They lay their eggs in the soil. And how are these eggs hatched? These eggs take up the warmth from the sun. So they need warmth. So the eggs need to get warm. So these eggs take up warmth from the sun and hatch on their own after some days. So this is how the eggs are hatched. Coming to the second one. Describe how a butterfly's egg develop into a new butterfly. So let's see the answer. The eggs of a butterfly hatch into a larvae. These are known as caterpillars. So first, they hatch into a larvae known as caterpillars. They do not have wings. So these caterpillars do not have wings. They eat leaves and develop into pupae. So their main job of these caterpillars is to eat food. So they eat lots of food and they develop into pupae. After that, they develop into a pupae, which then grow into adult butterfly. It then develops into an adult butterfly. Coming to the third one, how does a tadpole differ from an adult frog? So let's see the answer. Tadpoles do not have legs. So the eggs hatch into tadpoles. The eggs of frog hatch into tadpoles. And these tadpoles do not have legs. They look more like tiny fish and live in water. So where do these tadpoles live? They live in water. They look more like a fish. They can swim in water and they breathe through their gills. They breathe through their gills. Adult frogs have legs and breathe through their lungs. Coming to the fourth one, what are mammals? How do they reproduce? So you can write the answer as, mammals are animals that have hair on their bodies and give birth to their young ones. So what are mammals? Mammals are animals that give birth to their young ones and have hair on their body. In mammals, young ones develop inside the mother's body. So in mammals, where do these young ones develop? They develop inside their mother's body and feed on their mother's milk. Now let's move on to the next exercise, that is higher order thinking. So here you can see different animals and at the same time you can see different features given. What you have to do here is you have to link the animal with the correct features. So you can do this by yourself. So you have to link the animal with its correct feature and use this link to write 2 lines about these animals. And you can write this down in your notebook and you can match it in the textbook. Coming to the second one, here what you have to do is, we have to separate the following animals. You can see the name of animals are given. What you have to do is, you have to separate them. So we know that animals reproduce by laying eggs as well as giving birth to their young ones. So we need to separate the following animals as egg-laying animals and animals that give birth to young ones. So what you have to do now is, you can just pause the video, go through these following animals and there is a box given for egg-laying animals and animals that give birth to young ones. What you have to do is, you have to separate these animals and write it down in the box given. Then let's see the answers. So I hope you have done this. So let's see the answers. So first one, egg-laying animals. So from the following animals, you have to write which all are egg-laying animals. So I'm going to read out the answers. You can check whether your answers are right. The first one, egg-laying animals. So which all are egg-laying animals? It includes the red ant, monarch butterfly, tree frog, monitor lizard, marsh crocodile, bumblebee, and the Culex mosquito. So these are egg-laying animals. Coming to the next side, that is animals that give birth to young ones. So I'll read out the name of the animals. It includes the wild dog, cheetah, Asiatic lion, brown bear, desert fox, Royal Bengal tiger, and the deer. So all these are animals that give birth to young ones. Coming to the next one, that is value-based questions. So here it is given 5 statements. Here you can see 5 statements are given And we are going to read this. If the statement is yes, you can write yes. If the statement is no, you can write in the box no. So I'll read out and you can write the answer. First one, I will go close to the nest. The second one, I will not disturb the nest. The third one, I will try to feed the chicks. The fourth one, I will observe the chicks from a distance. The fifth one, I will shift the chicks to another place. So I hope you have done this. Coming to the next one is an activity zone. You can see the picture of a butterfly as well as a caterpillar. And what you can do is you can color both the caterpillar and the butterfly. Next is a project zone. So let's see the first question given. Tyrannosaurus rex was a ferocious carnivorous dinosaur. You all know what is a carnivorous animal. Animals that eat other animals that we call as carnivorous animal. And this Tyrannosaurus rex was a carnivorous dinosaur. So what is this meaning of ferocious? Ferocious means very cruel. It was a very cruel carnivorous dinosaur. So the question here is, what you have to do is, you have to find out from the internet or books if this Tyrannosaurus rex laid eggs or give birth to young ones. You have to find whether this animal was an egg-laying animal or whether this animal give birth to their young ones. That is, whether it was a mammal. So you have to find this out and you have to write it down in the space given here. The next one is also a project zone where you need to hatch a butterfly. So those who are interested in doing this can do this, but this is not compulsory to everyone. So here what you have to do is you need to find the egg of the caterpillar, or you need to find a leaf which has a caterpillar on its underside. And you have to follow these steps and you have to do this activity. So those who are interested can do this and try to do this with the help of your parents. But this is not compulsory. Coming to the next one is the worksheet. Worksheet based on Unit 2. So let's start to do this. So I'll be reading out the questions. We have 3 exercises here. So the first one is answer in a word. So I'll read out the questions and you can write the answers in the space given. So the first one, what is the green pigment present in plants called? The second one, which gas do plants use to make their food? The third one, name plants adapted to grow in a desert. Fourth one, where do polar bears live? And the fifth one, what is a caterpillar? So let's see the answers. So what is the first question? What is the green pigment present in plants called? So it is called as chlorophyll. So the answer is chlorophyll. Second one, which gas do plants use to make their food? So they use which gas? They use carbon dioxide to make their food. So the answer is carbon dioxide. The third one, name plants adapted to grow in a desert. So you all know about desert plants. So you can name a plant that grows in desert. You can write the answer as cactus. The fourth one, where do polar bears live? So where do polar bears live? They live in very cold regions. So you can write the answer as they live in the North Polar region. That is the Arctic region. Fifth one, what is a caterpillar? What is a caterpillar? The eggs of a butterfly hatches into tiny and wingless larvae known as caterpillar. The eggs of butterfly hatches into larva which is known as caterpillar. Coming to the next one is a match the following. You have to match the correct pair. So I'll read out and you can match it. The first one, yak. The second one, camel. The third one, coconut trees. And the fourth one, lotus plant. So what are the answers? Yak. Where can we find these yak? You can find them on mountains. Where do they live? They live on cold mountains. You can match it with C, that is cold mountains. Second one, camel. Where can we find these camels? In deserts. So you can match it with letter D. Coming to third one, coconut trees. Where do these coconut trees survive? They survive in warm coastal regions. So you can match it with letter A. And the fourth one, lotus plant. So where can we find these lotus plants? They live in water. So you can match it with letter B. Coming to the third one, read the given passage and answer the questions given. So let's read out the passage and let's find the answers. The first one, the cheetah lives in open grasslands. So you all know what is a grassland. Grassland is a land which is covered with grass. Long ago, cheetah roamed about freely in the wild in India. Nowadays, we find no cheetah living in the wild in India. This carnivorous animal, you know what is a carnivorous animal? This carnivorous animal has long and strong legs and mostly hunts animals such as deer that run very fast. So this is the passage given. And based on this passage, we have two questions given and we need to answer them. So let's read the first question. Why does the cheetah have long and strong legs? So the question is, why does a cheetah have long and strong legs? So first of all, cheetah is a carnivorous animal that feeds on, that hunts on other animals. So the question here is, why do they have a strong and long legs? So you can write the answer as, the answer is given here. The cheetah has long and strong legs to hunt animals. So why do they have a long and strong legs? To hunt other animals. They feed on other animals such as deer which run very fast. So they have long and strong legs in order to hunt other animals such as deer. And the second question is, will the cheetah be able to live in a forest with dense growth of trees? So, and you have to say why. No, the cheetah lives in open grasslands. So where do these cheetahs live? They live in open grasslands. They cannot live in a land where there is dense growth of trees. It hunts deer that run very fast. So it feeds on other animals. The cheetahs need open spaces to run fast and catch their prey. So they need an open space in order to run faster and in order to hunt their prey. Therefore, they will not be able to survive in a forest with dense growth. So that they need an open grassland. So this is the answer for the second question. Coming to the next page, that is page number 69. It is a model test paper. So what you can do is you can attempt this as a test paper. Your time duration is 1 hour, and within 1 hour you have to complete these questions. And you can write down the answers in the space given. And once you have completed, you can take the picture of these 2 pages and do upload in Microsoft Teams. So we are done with this chapter. I hope you all understood. So let's meet in the next class and let's start with a new chapter. So till then, thank you.